darker version because we're both in some saucy moods today. So I was trying to make it a little bit darker of an intro.
Yeah, I'm mad.
It's just one of those times where
nothing like particular happened.
We're just both angry for no reason.
I mean, no. I mean, I guess things did happen. I just feel like I'm out of control of my life right now.
Ooh, yikes. That's a scary feeling.
Yeah.
Let's get right fucking into it. Why do you feel so out of control?
I don't know, man. I used to really like being in big groups and stuff because I was like, oh, I could perform here and no one will ever get too close to me. That's great. But now I really don't like it. I like being with only like the people that I know are my good friends and who I could say like, I'm feeling weird today. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise I get too nervous and overwhelmed that there's like a ton of people that I'll start drinking a whole lot and then I become the loudest person there. And then I wake up with the hangover blues. I left a group hangout yesterday and I took the queso dip I brought in my tiny purse. You know that won't hold queso dip.
What?
I just put it, I went, okay, bye guys. And I put it in my tiny purse and went home.
Did you eat it again?
Yeah.
Aw, but sometimes you need that to help with the hangover blues.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment on the last 2 videos or something on YouTube that was like one of the top comments. We try to stay away from the comment section, but sometimes it's good constructive criticism. And someone was like, hey, have you guys ever thought about not drinking? Because it seems like you both talk about how sad you are, and you also both talk about how wasted you get every week. Guys, this is adult shit. I don't know if you heard us the first time. It's the podcast where we fuck up so you don't have to. We're still learning. We don't know. Sometimes we do know. We do. You're right. We know. So, but sometimes
you said it in the other podcast. You said that you got a lot of that shit out of your system.
Yeah.
When you were younger. I did not.
You did not.
I did not. I stayed in and watched Hairspray in college and like got up early.
Weird John Travolta thing.
He's a fox.
And two, like, I think we go through stages in our lives. Like, I can remember a time where I was partying really hard in my early 20s, and I look back on that time and I shudder even thinking about the hangovers I get. And now it's like you get one bad hangover a month or 2 months, and you kind of go, oh, I don't like that feeling. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
I puked a full bottle of wine out of my nose last weekend, and I don't puke, ever. This is the first time I had puked.
I forgot.
Kate and I went out with my boyfriend.
Your boyfriend.
He's my hella boyfriend. Sorry, I just grabbed your vagina when I said that.
No, that was my hand.
I think it was like
that. My vagina does not feel like a hand. It feels like a claw. So you'll know.
It's got teeth. It's dark and dreary. But we went out to a jazz club where, wow, Kate really.
Fuck. Here's
it. Okay, there was this gorgeous. He was the most gorgeous bass player I'd ever seen in my life.
Stand-up bass, not like...
No, yeah. Like the big bloop, 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 bloop. There it is. I don't know why I said bloop. And Kate's like, wow, I want to put my mouth on that. And I was like, oh, do you now? BRB, I'm going to help you.
Okay.
I'm a D-swing woman.
Wait.
What?
Tell them. What the fuck you said to him?
Oh, dude, I was pretty drunk. Did you not hear the part where I said I puked a bottle of wine out of my nose?
But tell them what you said to him, and then we'll clarify.
I went up to him, and I was like, wow, you're a great player. And I think he thought I was hitting on him. So I was like, oh, by the way, I'm over here for my friend. If you turn around, she's the one with the big titties. And he turned around and was like, wow, let's go talk to her.
But didn't you say I was like down to fuck or something?
I didn't say you were DTF. I would never say that right to his face. I'm sure I slid it in so it sounded like you were about it.
So in my mind, when you go to talk to someone, you would be like, hey, do you know who's like really interesting and you might have an emotional connection with? Boom.
I just led with titties because you got great titties.
But when you lead with titties, then it's like...
All you wanted to do was fuck. You weren't trying to establish an emotional connection with him.
Of course I was. I'm always trying to do that. Even if I'm never just trying to fuck. Are you insane?
Well, that's not true. Because when we found out that he didn't live here, you were like, oh, I'm down to just bone.
Yeah, in theory, man, not really.
Okay.
Like, I would still have to talk, like, I would still want to talk to him. Like, I wouldn't want to just be like, I don't know anything about this person.
I guess.
I need some sort of emotional connection to be like, okay, what, you know, you gotta gauge what that person
bad.
likes.
That's my bad.
It's okay. It's just when he came over then.
But he was interested. It's the whole fucking point.
But here's
the thing. Right over to you.
Here's the thing.
And I was talking to you, and I was like, oh, here she goes. She's on her own. Good for her. And so I went back to my boyfriend.
when I called you guys that night, later that night.
What did Kelsey do?
She looks back at the DJ and just goes, she fucked it up!
I just thought it was such just sure.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. What's the thing?
Okay, so we were talking. I was asking a lot about his personal life, just like...
That's good. Guys like to talk about themselves.
Yeah, I was asking him a lot, and then he asked me what I did. I said I was a writer.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before you say what it is, before you say what he said, just wait, okay? Because you're gonna think something, but then let me say what I think he meant.
Okay, are you pre-planning the rest of our conversation?
Yes, you go.
So then he said, sorry, I have a mouthful of spinach feta wrap. He's like, oh, a writer. Yeah, comedy. Oh, like a Lena Dunham vibe. You have like a Lena Dunham vibe. And I went, nice and drunk. I do not.
And so you took that as like he was calling you Lena Dunham. Whereas I think he was just trying to relate to what you were doing. He was trying to keep the conversation going like, oh, you're a white comedy female writer.
Yeah, I'm a comedy female writer.
Exactly. Like, I think he was just trying to find a connection. I don't think he was, like, calling you Lena Dunham, who, while she does great work in the lives of women with endometriosis and chronic pain, we do know that she can be problematic as fuck. So I think you probably took that offensively and you were a little tipsy and probably went, I am not her.
Yeah, I got real mad and I actually wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not Lena Dunham. Wow! Like, getting really mad, and then he just slowly turned away.
I wish I could. I don't remember how that ended, but I do remember
You left.
puking.
Yeah. You left. I stayed for a minute. I shouldn't have been there alone.
You stayed alone? Oh, it's because I thought Quinto was coming.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you left. You
Sorry.
left me there high and dry.
Yeah, dude, that's all my bad. Yeah.
You had to throw up.
Yeah, I had to puke, dude.
I get it. That's how I was last night.
Oh, you were pukey last night? What'd you do last night?
Last night? I just went to a picnic and I got nervous, so I drank a whole bunch. And then I left and I took the queso. That's what I was telling you about.
I had queso this weekend, too.
It's when there's people around that I'm like, you're kind of attractive.
Well, it's easy to drink because you're good. You're also like, you know, a fun
drunk.
Yeah, you're a fun drunk, but everyone has that line where once you go one drink over the fun drunk, it's either sad drunk or mad drunk or too funny drunk.
Yeah. That's usually my problem, is that I'm just too hilarious.
Well, in a way, like you become a performer.
I know, it's annoying, but it's like the best way to keep people at like an arm's length. Instead of being vulnerable, because all I wanted to do is just be like, I'm sad today. But then when I was with like a bunch of people, I didn't feel comfortable being like, I'm sad, because it's a group setting. You know, you're not going to be like.
In the group text, I feel like we've lost a little bit of our group text mojo and stuff, and I feel like usually you should know that you could call or I tried FaceTiming you.
I know, it's just, it wasn't a good, I will spiral. I just like fully spiral, and I just had one of those weekends.
Sometimes it's better to just fully spiral, like you say, and feel all the feelings rather than try to
that's the thing,
prevent yourself from having a meltdown.
Right, and I want to feel all the feelings. I think it's just, I'm getting frustrated that I don't have a better coping mechanism. So instead of like feeling it and being like, okay, this is what you feel and that's all right, I usually like eat or drink it away. Yeah. And then I feel worse about it because then it's like a thing, something I can put my hands on. You know what I mean? Like if I eat or drink a whole bunch, then I'm like, oh, that's the problem. I can't stop eating or I can't stop drinking. But really, I just can't live in this like discomfort, and I don't really know what else to do. And even when I want to like ask, like reach out and be like, could someone help me? I get nervous.
It's funny how we like do things that we know are bad for us, despite like knowing that it's not going to make us feel better, but it is like a quick fix.
It's almost like a punishment.
I mean, there are two centers in the brain where it's reward. I was talking in Santa Barbara. That's another conversation, but I had a really good conversation with a friend, and she was talking about microdosing and how they're using that to treat like PTSD and trauma, and even things like bipolar and anxiety and And she was talking about how there's two centers in your brain. One is the reward center and one is mood. So things like alcohol, cocaine, that's rewards based. And then things like, you know, anything like mushrooms, LSD, MDMA, those are mood parts of your brain. So we're rewarding we're doing the rewarding versus treating the mood.
Oh, interesting.
Like psychotropics and microdosing, and I mean, I might be wrong. So if we got people out there who plant-based medicines, let me know. But yeah, like and alcohol is a depressant. We all know that.
Yeah,
it's not. You're not gonna feel great after drinking a lot. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, and I cocooned myself in this weekend until yesterday. I was just like, I stayed inside.
Watched Queer Eye. Oh. Can we just pause for a second?
Wait, let's like really pause.
To just talk.
Could we get them on the show?
Yo.
Any of them?
Any. Who's your favorite? If you're not watching Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, it was a show that was on what channel was it
I
on
don't
before?
think it's Queer Eye for the Straight Guy anymore. I think it's just called Queer Eye. Yeah.
Oh, that's smart because it's not just straight men.
Yeah.
You're right. 2018. It's on Netflix. It's 5 gay men make over someone's entire life, and it's been all men so far.
Yeah.
As the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And whoo!
I mean, from the first episode, just tears.
Sobs.
It is
just
beautiful because it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, uplifting, hopeful, wonderful thing. And I just love them all so much. And it's a feel-good show.
Yeah, and there's 5 queer men, and they each represent, like, a part of the makeover. So, like, one guy does his style, one guy does his foods, one guy does his house, one guy does his hair, and then the other guy does the landscaping or some shit, right?
Landscaping? Like gardening?
Gardening?
No, he does, like...
life coaching.
Life coaching.
Yeah, I don't... Which one's your favorite? I truly don't know who. I for 1 minute, I'm like, oh, the hairdresser guy is my favorite, and then I'm like, no, life coach guy is my favorite, and then I'm like, no, fuck that. The clothes guy is my favorite.
Tan.
Yeah, I don't know any of their names.
It's Tan, Bobby, Caramo, Anthony, and Jonathan.
Holy shit!
I follow them all on Instagram. I love them so much.
My God, that was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Caramo was on Real World. He was on Real World Philadelphia.
Oh my God, that's why he looks so fucking familiar. Yeah. Was he out on the Real World?
Yeah, and he was like, because people were like, oh, I thought gay men dress like this. He's like, no, I just wear like jeans and Timbs.
And that's what I love. I mean, like, most of my closest friends are gay men, and I love seeing the like representation in the spectrum of like masculine versus feminine, or lack thereof, I should say, between the 5 guys. Like, they're all so different, and they all bring such a different like perspective to
that's
these people's lives.
Really nice is that it's like, I think even when Queer Eye first came out, like the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I don't know, I feel like if you're the first of your kind doing something, there's sort of like archetypes that you kind of have to fit into to, you know, easily transition into people's smaller minds, honestly. And I just think it's really nice to see the progression that everyone was just like, nope, this is my personality. That's my sexuality is kind of secondary, like who I choose to be with. This is just who I am.
And it gave me really so much hope because they did go to a couple like middle America places where you would have.
Well, I mean, all of it was in Georgia.
Yeah.
I know gave me hope. I know that it's a reality show, and they had to say yes to this. It's not like these people are bombarding. People who are unwilling to be open to this. But it was really nice to see even like the cop.
Yeah, the firefighter guy too.
Yeah, the cop was big for me. Like that was such a. I don't want to spoil anything, but all of these things, like I just feel like you guys should watch it.
Yeah,
every potential argument or like, that's gonna be trouble, was met with such love and understanding, and like coming from a very genuine place of being like, let's really talk about this. Like let's understand each other. And that was just
that's
I want to cry right now.
Oh my God,
it was just so like. And just a genuine care for other human beings instead of I'm right. It was so nice.
I think like anyone could watch this show too. Like I would almost encourage you to get straight male.
I'm trying to get my dad to watch
your
it.
Life, because my boyfriend and I watched it together, and we both like openly cried together.
I told all my friends from home too, and then their boyfriends are like they love it too, and they're just making sure the other one likes it.
So go watch the show.
That's great.
I almost had a foursome in Santa Barbara.
Go on.
That's it. Almost did. Got too drunk, and it didn't happen.
You, the DJ, and then another couple?
Two chicks. Yeah.
How pissed is he that it didn't happen?
He actually wasn't pissed at all. He was like, it's all you. It's whatever you want to do. And I went on autopilot and was like, I need to go home because I'm too drunk. And the worst thing, like, I just knew my limits and I had hit them. We had been wine tasting for 6 to 8 hours Probably I'd say like 4 bottles of wine at least.
Oh.
Yeah, it was impressive.
After you just threw up wine too.
Yes, yeah. I really hate myself.
No.
But it didn't happen, but boy did it almost.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How does someone go about initiating that?
Well,
I don't think anyone could do that unless they're drunk.
I feel like it does help to have alcohol, but I also am openly bi and like we'll talk about it, and I think specifically women always have questions about it. You'd think it would be men, like, oh, how do chicks fuck? But no one's ever really that rude that openly to me in public. And so I think women like to ask questions about it. And then I'm like, yo, here's 10 reasons why you should absolutely eat a pussy before you die. And then it's my job to like convince them. And it's not so much convincing as like letting them kind of explore their curiosity.
Yeah, it's kind of
questions.
like creating a safe space for them to be like, well, I mean, I've like thought about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've watched like lesbian porn.
Yeah. And then the DJ is just sitting there like, hey, I'm just here to support you guys.
I'm a feminist. I'll just sit back. I'll let y'all do the talking.
No, it was really, it was a fun weekend. The L-bombs were dropped, guys. We dropped the L-bombs. It happened. I was drunk when I said it, but don't regret it.
You know, in old movies, when they'd go to like hug each other, the people are in love and then they don't actually want to hug each other, they're like mad, they almost like push each other away or get like really mad before they finally hug each other because it's like, no, it can't be real. That was you.
What? Oh, I forgot I got drunk and was talking to you too.
Jesus.
Shit, what the hell happened to us this weekend, Kate? You literally, what did you say to me that was like an aha moment?
I said,
I was like, I don't want to say it.
He'll destroy me. If it gets fucked up, I'll be destroyed. And I was like, well, you didn't have friends last time. Yeah. Close friends that were here for you.
The last time when I went through the bad breakup that I talk about, all of his friends were my friends, and including the females. They were
females.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I will get in a lot of trouble for calling them females. But the women,
females,
the girls. The thing about bitches be that like I truly felt like I lost all of my friends when that breakup happened. Yeah, and that's something Kate said to me because I was being all drunk. Like, I can't tell him I love him because he's gonna. Why did I say destroy me? That sounds so dramatic, but I would be really sad. And Kate said it's because you don't have friends. Or you didn't.
Jesus. You have friends
because
now.
you didn't have friends the last time.
No one could really handle that on their own.
It doesn't seem so scary when it feels like I have support.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to people not supporting me in relationships or life choices that this feels... everything feels new and different, and I'm really happy, and it feels good to have friends that want you to be happy.
That's awesome.
I want you to be happy.
Dude.
I don't know what to do.
I don't either. I was doing good.
But that I think it's life, man. Some days are bad days.
I always just think that it's like this. Like it's just like a steady uphill progress. Like the numbers are rising. It's good. We're getting better. But it's not. It's like valleys.
But one step back doesn't take you back down to the bottom of that hill.
I know. I think
you've made so. I mean, even look at the podcast. Like how much you've grown, and like, oh my God, how many people truly love. Also,
my face is going to get red talking about this.
What?
But I think, and that's why I don't want to do, just so everyone out there knows, I don't want to do any more cum updates.
Oh!
It's just, I was in therapy and I was talking and stuff, and I got to a point, instead of just being like, I won't let myself have fun, I won't let loose or whatever. It's way deeper than that. It's like a genuine fucking terrifying fear that I have of being like physically intimate with someone, even myself, so I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And guess motherfucking what? That's the way it's gonna be. And
love you guys.
Yeah. And you know what? I think you've helped a lot of people realize that it's not abnormal to have fun.
I'll talk about it maybe sometimes, but it being like a segment every week and people kind of asking, and I know it sounds fun and stuff, and people being like, but did you come yet? Or that'll make you come. And it's like, I know that we all feel like we're close to each other, but that makes me clam up way more.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you have anxiety and people go like, have you tried doing this? And you're like, yeah, obviously I fucking tried this thing. Right. And like, or if I don't, there's a reason why I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And you have to go at your own pace, and you have to, you can lead a horse to water. What? Does that apply here?
I honest to God, I blacked out.
That's good to hear. Mm-hmm. We also, guys, have our new podcast email address. We got a flood of messages.
Yeah.
It's adultshitpodcast@gmail.com. Adult shit spelled with a 1. Should we just do a question since we're here?
Since we're talking about.
And also, we love the shit you guys send us. My favorite thing has been just reading the email subject lines because they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And very attention grabbing. Official Dabney says, "Hey Kelsey, been loving the podcast. You and Kate are awesome." Aren't we? I have a question, maybe need some advice. I'll try to keep it short. Some background. I live in New York with 3 roommates, 1 from my graduating class and 2 from the year before, who delayed moving to the city for a year. So we all moved in June, and one of the roommates gave us issues the whole time with how much she'd be paying, the application requirements, and she keeps some massive furniture pieces none of us agreed to in the living room. So all in all, we're really annoyed and we have to move because our rent is raising. So the 3 of us were just going to break it off, but another friend of ours will not be joining us. We haven't told the girl we don't want to live with her yet and aren't really sure how. We still have to live together for a few months, but we want to give her enough time to prepare. We want to avoid hurt feelings, but it's awkward all around. We're all fairly close, and she's often not home and a bit left out, so I'm sure living with us hasn't been great for her either, ? Any advice from you and Kate would be great. You guys are so insightful and great at really thinking through things. Thanks. I think you're really good at thinking through things. I kind of just go off of my first emotion, which is...
I'm really good at thinking through things for other people.
Ooh, shit.
Damn, burn.
But doesn't that make you feel good?
Self-burn.
I think your purpose in life is to help other people.
Ugh. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I like helping other people.
I know, but you want to be able to help yourself. Got it. My initial instinct is you gotta fucking tell her. It's an adult conversation that you don't want to have, but you gotta have it.
Also, have you guys been talking to her about all the stuff that makes you annoyed
or just
with her?
Passive aggressive?
Or is it because sometimes, and not saying you guys are doing this, saying I used to do this. Sometimes when I would have roommates, like before I lived by myself, when they would like do stuff, like a roommate would do something, and I would never tell them it was annoying. I would tell everyone else, and then it became this weird thing where I was like, I used to really like complaining about them and just being like, oh my god, listen to what they did this time, and it's just like, I don't know, you take it becomes like a scab, and you just like to pick it, even though you know you shouldn't. It's like, just fix it, just let it, talk to them about it. But sometimes it's like it's a hard conversation to have. But I mean,
your home is your home,
right?
You have to be comfortable, and everyone should feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't feel like you're coming home to be like tension or like all this passive aggressiveness, and especially if it sounds like you guys live in the city, like with 4 chicks, that shit's gotta be either y'all got lots of money or that I'm sure the space is tight.
Yeah,
because in the city it's a cramped. Yeah, it's a cramped city, and then you come home and you feel cramped or you feel like overwhelmed. That I think you would be much happier if your safe space is actually a safe space.
Yeah, and I definitely think that there is like, I feel like you guys aren't talking to her about what she's doing that's bothering you, and she probably picks up on the fact that you guys talk about her.
3 against 1 might feel a little intimidating.
And I know that, like, believe me, do I know that, putting up your own boundaries and being like, hey, this actually makes me feel this way is really hard because you don't want to hurt the other person. But please believe me when I say that talking about the other person is way more hurtful. She'll have freaking trust issues being like, they didn't like me, and now I'm by myself and I have to fight. So I would say, like, I would try talking with her and like just talk through it. And some people really just aren't meant to live together, and it might be good that I mean, I hope she finds, no offense,
better people to live with,
other people to live with, because it kind of sounds like you guys sort of have your minds made up about it, and you don't really want to be the bad guys in this situation, and you're only the bad guy if you're
a dick about it.
If you're a dick about it, and talking about someone like that when you're not actually like trying to change the thing is being a dick.
And I would maybe have one person talk to her. I think all 3 of you guys approaching her about it would come off as like, I would immediately get fucking defensive or be like, okay, I don't give a fuck, y'all bitches anyway. So I would maybe take the person who's like the closest with her or has the most control over the like lease. I don't know how you guys have split it up, but someone where it's like, hey, I want to sit down with you as a friend and a roommate and talk about the upcoming situation that, the lease is up and we're all going to have to move, and us 3 are going to get a place, and it's because we think we live better together, and if you seem unhappy, and maybe you could tell us if you have been or haven't been, But I don't think it doesn't sound like she's going to be pissed that you guys don't want to live with her if she's not happy either.
Yeah. Also, did you guys tell? Like, now I feel bad for this girl. Because, like, did you guys tell her you didn't like the furniture? Did you tell her all this sort of stuff? It kind of feels like this is like, and if that's the case, if you have talked to her, just fucking tell her that you don't want. Like, if you've already, it's like, oh no, we've had these actual discussions, not passive discussions. Yeah. Actual discussions, trying to find a solution and not trying to stay mad. If that's the case, don't worry about it. She'll figure it out. If it's not the case, which I feel like in my experience, I've seen it multiple times where it's no one actually has the conversation until it's like kind of too late. If that's the dynamic, just putting this out there between you three, that you sort of were like, this girl, like it's that will follow you into your new home. Just so you know, there will be another one that you guys, because when you get rid of this one, everyone's has these unresolved feelings. It will happen to one of you from the other two.
It's tough. Like, living with friends, it's always a risk. You're always taking a risk. I've been really lucky. I've been able to live with my very best friend and her now husband. And so it was great. I was like being in a throuple. And now I live with my other best friend who is literally the best roommate in the world, except for when he leaves pizzas in the oven and almost burns the house down every couple of weeks when he's drunk. Besides that, I've been really lucky in roommate situations, but it's because I've been really picky about who I live with. Yeah. I've never just been like willy-nilly like, oh, we're all going to the same part of town, like, or, ooh, I'm trying to save money. I think you have to be really careful when deciding to move in with a friend, because you need to know that friendship can withstand hard conversations like money or responsibilities or, tough conversations. And I think I think too that comes with the more you live with people, the easier it gets. Yeah. Especially in like a big city like LA where people are constantly moving in and out with each other, I think. You get more experience with it.
Sometimes people just don't do well living with other people.
Like who?
Me. I don't. I wish I did. It would be nice. I would like to not be so alone all the time, but I also am very particular. Like, I don't want anyone in my space. Yeah. So, just talk to her. And I know that it's really hard, and I hope I'm not, like, blaming you or calling you guys bitches, even though it might sound like I was. I'm not.
Think so?
Okay. But definitely, like, just be honest. Just, everyone wants to have a good time. No one does anything on purpose to hurt you. Yeah. She didn't bring the furniture in to hurt you. She didn't make things hard to hurt. You know what I mean? It's just her own stuff. So maybe try to get to the bottom of it and, like, really just talk, because, if you guys...
This could be fine. And you guys could end up being friends again.
Yeah, she could also be fucking overwhelmed and nervous. And you guys could be, too. It's just...
communication.
Being young and like having roommates and whatnot is like
so stressful.
It's weird because when you're in your family home, you like take shit out on your family, and then when you get to like a roommate situation, if you don't have that being like that comfortable dialogue sort of established, then it's gonna be rough.
Very tough. But please write us back and let us know what ends up happening. I'm still thinking about that girl whose question we answered 2 weeks ago. She never wrote back to me on Instagram, but
about what?
When she was hooking up with her best friend's ex-boyfriend. I'm still dying to know, guys.
I think we lost a listener that day. I think she stopped listening.
Shit. I'm gonna maybe message her on Instagram again. Do you want to pause and then go pee before our super special guest comes? Okay. Roll the ad. Roll the ad. Wait, we have to do the thing we did with Grace, where we go, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest just got here. You know her as the food drunk Quitchin queen. The food drunk Quitchin queen.
Author, activist, Hannah Hart.
Cat mom, extraordinaire, Hannah Hart. Yay! And motherfucking host of the new hot hit podcast, Analyze This.
Analyze This.
Yeah. You got a motherfucking podcast.
I do, yeah. I do.
Tell us, how did that come about, fruition?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm a huge fan of adult shit and both of your work.
Sorry, I hit the table.
Analyze This. I'm actually one of two Hannahs on that podcast. The second being my best friend, Hannah Gelb. And yeah, I don't know. We always talk about mental health and I like to call Analyze This the self-help podcast that just can't help itself.
Our Ours is the adult shit podcast where we fuck up so you don't have to.
Oh!
Guys, our podcast would be BFF.
Oh my god, I love it. Ours has like more crying though.
Ours turns crying into self-deprecating humor, but
we
literally
avoid
crying on the inside.
crying.
This is the line between 20s and 30s, guys, right here. Because I'm like, you know what? Actually, today I'm gonna try and love myself just a little bit more.
But your shit is so inspirational. I mean, like, you've written about it in your book and you've talked about it on YouTube and everywhere. But like,
Yeah, I know, really. Jesus.
yeah,
Settle down.
Christ, you're starting to sound like Kate and I.
Yeah.
How do you? We joke about that. We don't know what we're doing, so that's why we're allowed to give advice. But how do you feel like? Does it help does helping other people help you? Do you feel like
I think
talking about it helps?
You know, I guess it's not so much giving advice as it is like relaying experience. So, for instance, today's episode that just went live is all about trying out a float tank, which is like
I've been in one.
Yeah.
sensory deprivation chamber.
How'd it go?
I like to call it watery coffin. Yeah,
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
Were you able to chill for the whole 2 hours?
I guess you'll have to subscribe to Hannah this and find out.
I got out early.
Yeah,
I got out early.
I fully got out early. I was like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, well, so like we go, and so each episode has like a larger theme. So in that one, it was like about like styles of meditation, like trying out different things. If sitting and meditating isn't for you, there are ways that you can get into a meditative state. And so we go out and try this float tank because we just want to save people some money, you know. And most expensive nap I ever took.
Was it expensive?
I mean, for a nap, yeah. Which are normally
nap for free.
Yeah. That was really interesting.
When he said, because I went for the one, was it 2 hours?
No, I went for 1 hour.
I did a 3-hour one.
What?
Wow. That's why I got out early. I was like, this is too long for
insane.
anybody to lay
I went
down.
for 2 hours, and he was like, the thing that scared me is that he was being like very particular about the ear things.
I got water in my ear, yeah.
And he was like, you don't want to get that in your ear. You don't want to get that in your ear. And I was like,
salt water.
so then I'm laying there kind of like this,
Yeah.
like with my head up, because I was like, I don't want to get it in my ear.
Relax.
I couldn't relax. Not
You
for the
know,
life of me.
I like what you said though about the different styles of meditation, because we've done a ton of videos about it at BuzzFeed with like people try this meditating or this kind of healing or this kind of whatever, and it's all just all of us trying to calm our brains. But my therapist told me something wonderful once. He was like, your form of meditation is going to the movies. I go to the movies by myself every Sunday, or I watch a movie by myself. That's my alone time. That's my recharging time. And it's the time where my mind feels most at peace. And I think as long as you're not like, doing coke to achieve that same feeling, meditation can really be anything.
Yeah, chopping wood, washing dishes.
Chopping wood.
Damn it, Hannah.
Have you guys made any BuzzFeed videos about that?
You do
That's
chop
hard.
wood. You chopped wood.
I'd like
What?
to chop wood.
Sorry.
Well, if when I go camping, not like at my house.
Camping, form of meditation, I think it can be.
I think it can be. Well, I like, and when we were talking about one of the other themes of Analyze This is that my friend Hannah's like, I don't know, man, isn't it kind of scary to even think you could be at peace or you could even think you could be happy? She's like,
Whoa,
I like
sounds
my
like
ups
Kate.
and she's like, I like my ups and downs, but like, I like myself. I like my ups and downs. I like my drama. This is my emotional experience in life. And it's not that you get so good at meditating that you become a monk. It's not that you're like, hello, everyone.
Right.
Good to see you again.
Yes, here's
I am
my herbs.
unfazed by this as well. It's more like it gives you the access to the clear blue sky of your mind whenever you need it. So the more you practice meditation, so if you picture your mind like the sky, sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's stormy, sometimes there's a couple clouds in the sky. It's the ability to go above those clouds when you need to. Like if you're driving to a job interview and you're super nervous, being able to breathe and kind of give yourself that space, that's the access point.
And it's really just
Yeah.
like having time to yourself as well. Like we're so bombarded with technology and stories and fucking, what are those little goddamn alerts that come down on my phone every 20 minutes?
Notifications?
Yes, those notifications from like, even BuzzFeed News be sending out so many notifications that
I'm pretty sure I turned it off, but I keep getting it.
I get every so often it's like, this
You
is
won't
news
take
you
it.
should probably know if you're going to be a part of this.
I wanted to ask, does your host also identify as having mental illness or mental health
crises.
Everyone has mental
I
health.
think everyone has.
We all have minds.
Well, some people don't like to call it an illness. I totally understand that. So I
Right.
think like just talking about mental health, I feel like
I like to say, so Hannah has chronic depression, as I do as well. And yeah, it's interesting, the word mental illness. We like to say, like, works with their mental health, or like, tries to improve mental health, or
is
blah,
a
blah,
part
blah.
of you.
Yeah,
not all of you.
Because, it sounds like it sounds so intense to
Yeah.
say mentally ill.
Yeah, because
Right?
you automatically get a picture in your head of what that looks like.
Also, it's the implication that it's a disease with a cure, but it's not. It's a state of being. So, like, you're predisposed to depression. You're
Yeah.
not ill. You're not sick. You're not
talk about that
diseased
all the time.
looking for a cure.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, cool. So if I'm always going to be at a -5,
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to bring my -5 up to 0 so I
Yeah.
can be par.
Yeah, it's almost like you just. It's your perspective too. Like
Yeah.
your perspective is just like, oh, sorry. Every time I see that, I think this, and that's just a thing that I think, and I have to just identify it.
yeah.
I was thinking about that a lot this morning. Is that every time I do something that I'm like a little embarrassed about, or I find out a truth about myself, it's usually I try as hard as possible to push it away or
Yeah.
change it so that it doesn't. So that I don't have any like controversial part of me. Like it
Yeah.
has to be undeniably favorable, you know what I mean? So it's really hard to like push that stuff away and try to change. And then I thought about it this morning, and I was like, that is it will never happen.
Yeah.
You'll never change these parts of you. It just comes to like working with them and knowing how to work with them. And
Yeah, I think that's a really,
Yeah.
really good point. Because, as I discuss in Buffering on Shared Tales of a Life.
Yeah, go buy the book, motherfuckers.
A book so good, Kate couldn't read it. She had to stop.
I couldn't read it.
Wait.
Kate.
It's triggering.
Yeah.
Triggering
Well, no, it is. You
Yeah,
go
it's
fucking
intense-
deep.
it's an
I think
intense
when
book.
people were expecting you to read a
But
book,
what
it wasn't
in the
that.
chapter where I discuss living with depression, the metaphor that I like to kind of think of it as is once you identify your demon, it's not about outrunning it and it's not about defeating it. It's about learning to walk alongside it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, buddy,
You're here.
you're here today. Ooh, you're big today.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
It's
Yeah.
not about we've said this so many times on this podcast about the end goal that society tells us we should be is happy. The same way that they tell us you're only in a successful relationship if you end up married. The same way that it's not. Why does happy have to be the end goal? It's like people get on a medication and they expect, okay, well now soon I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And it's why is that? Why can't we
Just-
accept the ups and downs? Why can't we
Yeah.
accept the sadness as something that makes the happiness better?
It feels like a failure. Sadness sometimes when like I think happiness and beauty are two things that were like maybe for men too, but specifically for women, happiness and beauty are like the two things that which is very interesting because we are literally predisposed to being like sad like at least once a month if you get your period.
Yeah.
Did you know that men's hormonal cycles, or cisgender men as hormonal cycles, are 24 hours?
What?
Yeah, so we have a whole month, but men go through mood swings all day. Like every day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's why they're so moody.
I mean, it fucking makes
That
sense.
is
Why don't they
fantastic.
teach you that in high school?
But you know how guys wake up with morning wood?
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of their hormonal cycle. It's a 24-hour cycle. And like, you know how sometimes you get horny right before your period?
Yes.
Dude.
Holy
I know, they don't
fucking
teach
shit.
them that. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't because they're not allowed to
Because they're
have
not allowed to have
emotions.
feelings.
Yeah, or
if
we're not allowed
men
we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, it's so weird because sometimes even like talking about I had a point.
Oh yeah,
before.
you were talking about predisposed
This
to
happens
sadness.
all the time. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, but you have like impossible.
You got there. We got there.
You have like impossible standards. It's not impossible, but it's impossible to be constant. Like beauty and happiness can't be forever if it's only one thing. You know what I mean? If it's just like it has to be this or nothing.
You're right.
So, but there's such a good market there. You sell these books. You try this diet. You do this thing, this, that, or the other thing, and maybe you can achieve it. And when you don't, you go right back and try again.
But it's kind of like, it's so funny because in that, using the diet analogy, it's like it's so much less sexy to be like, you can gradually change this constant state over time, many years in practice. How are you going to market that?
No,
right?
Too long. I need a laser, a button, or a fucking switch.
Ella and I get in this all the time because Ella, my partner, she's great, and she's like, you know what, that's it, I'm cutting out dairy for 3 months. Boom, cutting out dairy, 0 dairy, 3 months, let's go. And I'm like, we could just try reducing our dairy intake just a little this week.
That's the whole, I feel like self-care now is getting roped into that, monopolizing on now what self-care is and becoming part of the problem that like
as
we're trying to
if this is the first time that's ever happened.
Exactly. Like,
that's the whole industry, Mike.
Yeah. And it's so popular now, though. Like, you can't scroll through Instagram without seeing a quote. You can't scroll through Twitter without seeing a funny picture about self-care and taking care of yourself. And now that's like, humor is a way of coping with it, I guess.
Have you guys ever read the poem? I'm not going to read it now, but it's a great poem. It's in The Prophet. It's called On Joy and Sorrow. And it talks about how the relationship with happiness and sadness. Like, so if we think of happiness and sadness not about goals to achieve, but rather our experiential states, the deeper your well of sorrow, the more joy you can fill it with. So that means that when you feel the profound pangs of like loneliness or existential crisis, that's because your quality of feeling is heightened. So your joy that you feel is sweeter, it's more extreme. And there's I guess something to honor in that, you know?
Yeah.
And I would rather navigate my river than feel less.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to my therapist about that. I was like, I don't want to be numb. And that's why I didn't want to go on medicine at first. And she was like, that's funny because you numb yourself all the time. Because every time I have any sort of feeling, I'm like,
Too extreme.
This is too extreme. Yeah, this is going to hurt other people. My feeling is going to be a burden to other people. So I better just not have it and not think about it.
Well, it's easier to not feel. I remember when I was going through the scariest, most frightening of my anxiety attacks. Bitch, you best believe I'd rather take a Xanax and feel nothing or sleep. And that's what ended up happening. I slept for 4 months because I was afraid of being awake because I was in fear of having a panic attack. I was afraid of the panic attack. So I would just numb myself. That's where the drinking started getting heavy when I was in my early 20s. It's where any form of escapism was easier than just confronting it. And not confronting it, because that sounds so mean.
It's feeling it.
It's feeling it. I'm a very pro finding the medication that's right for you.
Yes.
I'm very pro that, because if your reaction, and for those of you listening on the podcast, you can't see, but I'm making a wavelength that is bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller.
Peaks and valleys.
If your reaction to those extremes is to anesthetize through drinking or numb it out, then what medication can do is it can make your peaks and valleys something you can experience.
Yeah.
You know, because I've found that I'm on antidepressants, and it doesn't mean I don't still experience depression, my low, but it makes my ability to manage my low within my reach.
And know that,
and this is pretty, and I don't know, for your listeners, this is pretty, I guess, singular talk. So when I say my low, I mean, if I'm in a depressive state and for me, my depression manifests in isolation. I withdraw. You know, I don't get mad at people. I don't
You're like me. You withdraw and then you perform.
Yeah. I'm just I'm just gonna
nobody see it. I will be alone.
Shut this
door. Deal with it on my own.
Deal with it. Then I'll walk out and be like, that was bad.
Look at me now. I'm a cloud.
That's exactly what I like to do. You know, when Ella and I first started dating, it was really hard for her because I'd be like, I'm good. I just got nothing.
Because it's better, it's easier when you're first dealing with feelings you're not used to, or it's so intense that you've never had them that certain way. It is easier to just think, okay, I'm the only one that deals with this. I've got to figure this out. This is my thing. Whereas when I have talked about I'm making air quotes, craziest of my panic attack thoughts or my craziest anxiety thoughts, how universal that has been, and how other people have been like, oh, you thought you couldn't breathe and you thought your body fell out of your own body. I 100% felt that every day.
When I first moved to Los Angeles, that was the first time I ever had a panic attack. I actually have the ER slip, and I wrote on it Hannah's first panic attack. Because I didn't know what was happening, but
you put a little footprint on it.
Yeah, hanging on your wall.
tear, just a tear.
Hannah's first.
I took myself to
Baby
the
first
hospital
panic.
because
Wow.
I was convinced I was having an allergic reaction. And I went through this phase in 2012. So this is like after the career just started to take off, and I just moved to LA, and there were all these reasons that I was having panic attacks for the first time in my life.
Wow.
But I thought I was allergic to foods. So I went to an allergist. I went to this because I was like, no, seriously, my throat is closing. And the doctor was like, by virtue of the fact you're speaking, your throat is not closing.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know about that, chief.
Yeah, you're a doctor and all, but
He was like,
Let me see your diploma.
He was like, I think you're having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I was like, nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And then he asked me about my trauma history, and I was like, yeah, lifetime. And then he was like, well, nothing's wrong now, but your body is carrying
Yeah,
the panic.
you carry it.
And it's coming out in this state.
years later, it can be it smacks you out of fucking nowhere, and that's where when
bullshit, man.
how many times people have said I've gone to the ER, I've taken myself to the ER. Like I think I needed to go. I was like, I needed a medical professional to go. Nothing is wrong with you. Here's your EKGs. Here's your blood tests. If you need to come back another time, we'll run the same test again.
It's expensive.
It's a privileged position for sure, especially because I was on my parents' insurance. But I needed that. I needed someone to tell me that I was okay.
But it was also that's like
Before I could realize I was okay.
to me that would freak me out even more. If I was going and I was like, I'm fucking, something's happening in my body and I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm, and they were just like, yeah, no, nothing's wrong. I'd be like,
well, not that nothing's wrong.
They give you drugs.
Tools. And two, they'll
They gave
explain.
me Ativan. They were like, you're having a panic attack. Here, take this. Did it work? And I'd be like, whoa, it's gone. What's up? I feel better. And they're like, so yeah, it's just anxiety. So.
And they
that'll
give you
be $10,000.
It doesn't
Jesus.
mean that nothing's wrong, because that's the difference. Is that when you have panic, you're like, I don't know what's happening to me now. I feel fine. They just kind of come out of nowhere. They explain to you the fight or flight response, like your body's way that it produces adrenaline. There is a science behind it, and I'm someone who kind of likes to read about things I'm scared of because it helps me understand it better. I know
like
for
to
some
read-
people it's triggering, but for me, I'm like, the more I understand it, the more I'm less afraid of it.
I'm a doctor, Kelsey.
wait,
I am.
honest to God, anytime I only text Hannah, I'll text because we're on the same time
we're
zone
neighbors, too.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, Hannah, is this wrong? Hannah, is this normal? Pete's doing this. What do I do?
I'm a doctor.
Sweet Pete, you're a veterinarian apparently.
also
too.
vet.
Literally just everything that you've ever dealt with.
I got it, man.
Wait, what is this? What is this wellness room I heard you're making
I
in
built
your
the-
house?
okay.
Oh yeah, wait, could you
Acupuncture?
today?
Yeah. Oh,
What?
Yeah. You want to do? Is that why you're talking? Yes, come.
No, that's not
Wait,
why.
you
but-
do acupuncture?
She does.
You learned all the like meridians and shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
Kate has to sign a waiver. No, I'm learning. So I got a book. I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning. I've got a book. I'm teaching myself acupuncture because I've gone to acupuncture a number of times, and I've had some success with self-practice at home. And Ella has a lot of sinus problems, and so I can comfortably do her sinuses. And then I've also started doing acne, hormonal acne.
Oh my motherfucking God. Girl, it's like you were listening to my podcast or something because our podcast, sorry, I don't know why I said my
It's
problem.
okay. I say my cat, and I think it really bothers her. I say my cat.
Your cat, it bothers your cat to be like,
No,
I
it
don't want
bothers
anybody.
Ella.
Bothers
I
Ella.
know
Oh,
that.
sorry. God, it just
Oh,
right
I
over
think
my
my cat
head.
I'm my own cat.
But like, I just went off birth control about 6 months ago, and all of a sudden, this acne. I had never had acne in my life, not even so much as like a bad breakout, and now it's fucking crazy. Where do I put the needles? Because I love acupuncture.
It's well. So we'll talk about that offline because I don't want anybody doing this.
Oh, good point. You guys, this is a podcast where I fuck up, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. She can fuck up of her own advice that she got from some mysterious person.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I get hormonal acne on my neck and jaw, and it doesn't bother me. So
It doesn't. You sure?
it comes up once a month, 1 week a month. I have acne.
I have it constantly. I just have it
But
constantly.
your skin, since
Your
you've been
skin
on
looks great, by the
Prozac,
way.
looks
You want to know what's
great.
fucking crazy?
What?
I was using like all of these like,
What?
really like expensive products, and then I ran out, and I was just like, okay, I'll just use my Neutrogena, like regular Neutrogena, and it started working. And then I've only been putting like aloe on like the actual
Cetaphil.
Dude, you know who you got to talk to?
aloe, and then I did the tea tree oil lotion.
Oh my god!
Tea tree is really.
We'll have a whole skin talk tonight
Yeah.
because my little sister
I love
Maggie,
your little sister.
she's the best. She was using
so cute.
salicylic acid based treatments, and as soon as she stopped and switched to benzoic, something like that,
benzoyl
her skin cleared up.
peroxide.
So
And it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Like people with severe acne will usually be prescribed a benzoyl peroxide first, and it can make your skin. I was allergic to my acne medication
Yeah.
for years. I didn't know.
Yeah, you have to go to the right dermatologist too. They just did a video here about it, and when they test, like sometimes it could be like bacterial, and it just so happens that your skin is just more susceptible to that. Not that you're not like washing your skin, and then if it's like bigger pimples and like really painful ones, it's more cystic, and they have to treat that more topically.
That's something I've had to be respectful about because both Ella and Maggie had cystic acne really bad, and so for me, again, being like, I don't care about my little zits.
Yeah.
I had one cystic zit, and for those of you listening and watching, cystic acne is the acne that built under the skin, and it gets like more like inflamed and it's not hard.
Yeah.
I had a cystic zit like a couple months ago, and it was like the first I'd ever had, and I was like, ow. Ow! Everyone! Ow! And I was like, I had that all over my face.
Yeah.
This is why I freak out when I start to see zits, because I don't want to go back to that. And I was like, this hurts. And she's like, my whole face hurts.
Bitch, you don't even recognize.
I didn't know, but seriously, like I was dismissing this experience that other people were having with their skin because I was being an asshole. I didn't know.
Well, it also
hurts.
it affects people in different ways. The same way that, like, you know, you could have perfect skin your whole life, and then you hit a certain age and it comes out, or life and environmental changes cause that to come out. The same way with, like, not trying to wrap this back to anxiety, but like when you were talking
you
about.
should. I mean, I was going to ask, your episodes have themes?
Yeah, we kind of take the most clickbaity thing out. So like, I think Grace's was blowjobs. Grace Helbig.
Because I told one blowjob story.
Oh, themes that happen after you shoot.
Yeah. We don't
come in
go
with a
ahead.
theme. We just talk.
No. We just talk. But I did want to circle back because you were talking about being on medication, and I was thinking, wow, I was on medication for 10 years of my life, and this is now the first time. Yeah.
But how old are you?
27. I started when I was 17, my first.
But you're not even fully formed.
Exactly. And now I'm off of it, but I do truly think I needed it during those times when I did need it. And now I know that's always an option. Yeah. And God, is it hell to figure out what medication. So it can be hell. It was hell for me to figure out what medication
and
was.
Privilege is hard. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But knowing that it changes.
GeneSight. GeneSight. You guys don't know about GeneSight? It's you guys don't know about GeneSight?
Is it sponsored?
No, it's not sponsored. But there's a certain type of swab test. Again, ridiculously expensive unless you happen to be on Medi-Cal or Medicare. And they'll cover it because, and I think this is fucked up, the government wants to save itself money. So GeneSight is a swab test you can take that will tell you what medications are processed by your body. For instance, I was on 300 milligrams of Wellbutrin, which was double the dose. So anyway, here. Let me explain how it works more. You do a swab test and it comes back results, and the results in different categories of antipsychotics, anti-anxiety, antidepressants, etc., tell you the medications puts the medications into three groups. Not effective, meaning you will not feel anything. Your body cannot process it. You might only feel the side effects. You might only feel like the weight gain or pee all the time or whatever, but you're not going to feel the results. Not effective. Middle one is moderate effect, meaning you might have to take double the dose of the medication to feel anything from it. And the last one is use as prescribed, which means it works and says what it's going to do. So the Wellbutrin for me was in the middle category, the moderate effect, which is why I was taking such a high dose of this thing to get such a marginal effect.
Right.
I switched to Zoloft, which is in my use as prescribed category. I'm on 50 milligrams.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
GeneSight.
GeneSight. All right.
GeneSight. Talk to your doctors about it. Now, here's the thing.
Hannah really is a doctor.
Big Pharma doesn't want us to know. This is what's fucked up.
Okay? No, it's serious.
I know
it's serious. I know it's serious.
I have a little bet,
just love Hannah so much.
What's the bet?
I can't get through one day without talking about Big Pharma. But here's what's fucked up is that my mom. I've conserved my mom, so my mom is mentally disabled. She has schizophrenia. It's debilitating, etc. Or she has schizoaffective disorder, major depressive disorder, etc., etc. Anyway. Medi-Cal and Medicare, which are the government disability programs that give you insurance, they cover it because they don't want to spend time paying all this money in months. They want to figure out what's the most effective thing. So my mom's GeneSight was free, covered by Medi-Cal, Medicare. Mine cost $3,000 out of pocket. My insurance doesn't cover it. $3,000.
Also, that's insane that this gene, whatever it's called, knows how expensive it is. Why, how do we make it less expensive, less out of pocket?
Well, you have to pay the insurance companies more money than pharmaceutical companies pay them. Oh, wait, we can't. Big Pharma.
It's also like it's like a control thing too. It feels like I'll get the money where I can get the money, and that's it. That's it. Like that's why
you might be able to
give away like free products and whatnot, and it's like so you can lower the price of the, you know what I mean? Like a lot of things are super inflated, and I also think that it pays more, like depression and or like mental illness makes more money than people who are okay.
Yeah,
and as you
they
said,
don't need anything.
As you said, like about the beauty industry, right? It's that we create these standards of happiness, create these standards of beauty, and then we spend money trying to achieve them. Yeah, and perpetually dissatisfying the spiritual hunger that we all have for a purpose in life. That I will give some credit that it is very difficult to nationalize approvals for food and drug regulation for all bodies, because all of our bodies are different, right? Yeah. And so they're trying. I believe if I give them credit, maybe in their heart of hearts they're trying to find baseline things and largest common denominators and apply them to everyone. But we're all as unique as our fingerprints, like biochemically, right? So that's the one thing I will say is that it must be very difficult. But I also don't think they should discredit any natural, because it's really effective. Dude, Elle and I almost poisoned ourselves the other day. So, you know St. John's wort?
Yeah.
St. John's wort. It's an herbal antidepressant. You can take it as like a tincture or whatever, but it's a mood elevator and it's herbal, etc. And it's like, you cut what?
I know where the story is going.
Okay, so St. John's wort, we were like, oh, we should try this. Maybe this will be good. Maybe we can, do this instead of taking more Zoloft when my period comes, blah, blah, blah. And Ella's like, are you sure you can take this with the medicine you're on? I'm like, we just bought this at Sprouts. Like, I've read it.
Natural.
It's got no warnings on it. Whatever. It says not approved by the FDA. It's St. John's wort. What could the harm be? So I mix it into like a little water and I drink it. Ella looks up online. She says, maybe you should call your doctor. And I was like, why? And she's like, it says don't mix St. John's wort and Zoloft. It may cause death.
Oh, no.
Because St. John's wort is such a legit, effective thing. It actually has an effect with prescribed antidepressants.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I fucking believe it.
So I texted with my psych and I was like, hey, I just took 30 drops of St. John's wort. Am I going to die? And he was like, today for the first time? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, just don't do it again.
Oh my God.
Because it's not like I was putting it in my system. Right. It said take it 3 times a day. But shouldn't they have written that on the bottle? Hey, FYI, this shit actually does work. It's not a placebo.
It's the same thing as anything that's not approved by the FDA. The same thing with CBD oil. It's technically considered cannabis because when you ingest it, it fires off the cannabinoid receptors in your brain, even though it has
cannabinoid.
Do you like that word?
It's hilarious. It sounds like a weed robot, like a little cannabinoid,
a little buddy in our head,
and then they grow a little bud. And then pass it on over.
They don't have to label on it that certain people's cannabinoid receptors can ingest CBD, which has 0 THC in it, and you can feel the effects of being high.
That's what happens to me when I take.
A lot of people.
Good night.
Yeah, I took some. I had terrible cramps. I was like, can I have some? I put some. Oh my God. I put maybe too much under my tongue. And then I was like, go into therapy. And then I was like, pull over.
Sleepy.
Oh man.
Well, especially if you're on certain antidepressants, when your receptors or whatever are open. So that's how SSRIs work, because they allow you to receive more blah blah blah. Anyway,
all important.
Google it.
Layman's terms.
It increases the effect of things. So
it can exacerbate.
Like if you're on antidepressants and you drink, it makes it like one drink now feels like 2 drinks.
Yeah, that is where I'm struggling.
Before you got here, we were like, maybe we should save some of Kate's story from today for when Hannah gets here, just because. Yeah.
No, not now. I'm not. I was hungover in the middle of last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
Hungover in the middle of the night.
It was an early day drinking.
Because I was day drinking.
I can't day drink.
Me neither.
I can't day drink. It's
Can't do it.
off the table for me.
It was because It's off the table for
It
me.
is.
You have to make a decision.
I can't day drink because I'm like, well, this has ruined my day.
Yeah. And then you have a hangover at like 8 p.m.
I fell asleep at 8 and then I woke up at 2 and I was like, I guess I'm just up now. But then I was like hungover.
And
like,
you don't
I
get
chugged
good
like
sleep.
so much water.
Fun
It's
fact that my boyfriend taught me about chugging water before you go to bed. Your body can only, I don't want to say ingest because that's not the right word, but your body can only process 9 ounces of water per hour. So if you try and wait till the end of the night to chug all your water, I don't know why this looks like I'm sucking a dick, to chug all your water.
Too big.
How do you chug water?
What
With your
dicks
hands?
are you holding?
My boyfriend's.
Is it this big?
No. Sorry. But so if you try and wait to the end of the night to do the Pedialyte chug or the water chug, it won't work because your body can only handle 9 ounces. An hour.
1 to 1.
1 to 1. One drink,
You got
one water.
Yep.
All I'm saying is that when I was telling Kelsey earlier, long story short, I got nervous to be in a big group of people, and I think I just needed to be like in a more intimate setting with people who I like feel like I could have said like I'm unhappy right now and I just want like a friend.
Yeah.
But instead I was in a big group, and I kept being like, no, you should just have fun. Everyone else is just putting their emotions aside and just having fun. So instead of doing that, I was too nervous to then, which is weird, like the eating disorder will come back in weird ways. So I was too nervous to eat in front of anyone.
Yeah.
And then I just started drinking, and then it was like, nope. All of like the little vulnerable part that I needed someone to be in, I wasn't asking for. So instead, I just turned into performer mode. But when you're too drunk, it's like it's obnoxious.
But it might have not been obnoxious. You might be thinking it was obnoxious.
Well, what matters is how the experience was for you.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not looking at this through
what
the
other
lens
people think
of other people looking at you. It's like you were like, man, I needed to take care of this vulnerable part of me. And I tried to numb it out.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 2 a.m. hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like day drinking is alcohol is so readily available as our like anesthetic of choice. And it's available in every social situation. And it's hard to honor yourself. And it's hard to take care of yourself when there's such an easy out,
especially when
an easy socially approved out. It does. It delays. It doesn't work.
You're right. You're 100% right.
It's like your feeling didn't disappear. It's
no.
Now
I'm
later.
Now it's you guys get it.
Which is why this podcast is so successful because boy did Kate and I like to fucking
What
drink.
category is your podcast under? Is that
explicit comedy? What's yours? Self-help. Self-help.
That feels great.
Oh yeah, I'm a masseuse too.
What?
So my wellness room.
Oh
Yeah.
Are we invited?
Wait here, this is the thumbnail.
Hey,
Hannah Hart's massage parlor.
that doesn't sound creepy at all.
So we have an extra room. Not an extra room. There's like an office in our apartment, and I. A couple months ago was like, I'm gonna turn this into my wellness room. I'm gonna get like a massage table, and I'm gonna like get my put all my herbs in one place, all my like stuff in one place, and I'll make like a little wellness room, like my incense, my essential
Your
oil,
essential oils. Okay.
all my shit.
I was thinking like
Finally,
parsley.
a place for my herbs.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're throughout my house.
You really do need a fucking room for self-care.
I do.
Though.
It's a little like, and I want to make it like a little, put a salt lamp in there, make it a little good space,
Safe space.
Yeah, a little place like that. Currently, it's just filled with junk, but that's my dream. That's my dream.
You need a project to work on. Everyone needs a little. Your home is never finished.
My home is never a home, but all my projects are constant.
But boy, are you successful and happy. Sometimes you're happy.
Yeah.
It's ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Wait, can you plug all your stuff?
Oh yeah. Are we done?
We're
winding down.
close.
We're good. Okay, great.
We're winding down.
Yeah, guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Where can people find your podcast?
If you guys want to hear more from me and from the other Hannah, who has a much sassier perspective, I put it in our bio. Hannah Hart, wildly successful, amazing, stupendous. And then Hannah Gelb, her middle name is Ruth. You guys can find us at Hannahlyze This. That's HANNAHLYZE. This. Hannahlyze This. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can also find us online at Hannahlyze Pod.
Wow!
On Twitter.
You guys got a twits?
We got a twat.
We got
We're a couple of twats. We're twatting. We're twatting.
And in your YouTubes and all the social medias is at Harto, right?
It's at Harto, HARTO. But really, if you had one click, I'd love it to go from this podcast to Hannahlyze This.
Yes,
Go to
it's a Poor
Hannahlyze
Female
This.
podcast. Should we do our shout outs for the week?
Yeah.
Our last episode, we got tattoos.
I know, I saw Kate.
And
How is it? Itchy yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how is yours? Mine
It's okay.
I got a lion.
I saw on Insta.
And it's fine
touch it
now.
with your finger.
But it's like it's fine.
Don't
now.
touch that.
Okay.
You're not allowed to touch it with your finger?
You shouldn't.
You should not touch it.
I've been rubbing
It'll
it.
fade
It'll
faster.
yeah.
Like this one is so faded because I touched it so much.
Oh
See?
man,
See?
that's. But I've got blue.
Fade.
I
got blue.
but 2 girls went and got tattoos after watching our episode last week.
Friendship tattoos.
And then another girl got let it be. The
On-
same
in
one
her
I
mouth?
have.
On
No,
your
I got
ankle?
let it be. Yeah, she got let it be on her ankle.
Whoa.
I thought that was great, so shout out to them. Also, mine is for Miss Morgan Lynn, Wingbat Winosa, Erica Lynch 15. That girl I met in Santa Barbara. Don't remember your name. I was pretty drunk.
Awesome.
At CZ Vor. She's one of the tattoo people. And at Meg Larson and her boyfriend Jeremy. You guys are great.
I have not as many. At Elemental Hoo-Ha. Great name.
I love that.
Great fucking name.
Elemental hoo-ha.
It's so funny. At Lacey _Young_ and at Gretch _Chen.
Like
Guys,
Gretchen.
Please go rate this on iTunes. It really helps with the ratings. Go subscribe to Analyze This. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable and willing to talk about your
This is
life
like-
and
Love
the
it.
tough
This is
stuff.
great.
We so appreciate you being here.
I don't want to leave.
We don't have
I mean, we
to.
could all just still like hang out.
can
Yeah,
hang
let's
out.
just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
You can
Bye, guys.
follow me at Kelsey Dara on all the things.
At Kate Peterman on Instagram and at KYTEPEA on Twitter.
And we will see you guys next week. Now we yell fucking bye at them.
Fucking bye.
Okay,
like
right?
that.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Fucking bye!